Good morning, everybody. For a change, I'm doing this first thing in the morning. Although not first thing, I've been up a little bit, but I'm running out of time because there's quite a lot of things I have to do today and appointments to meet. So I thought I'd just show you some of the completed Santas. Now, the ones you haven't seen yet from the last video were the red Santas, right? The other one's already in the shop. He came out really lovely. But he is particularly lovely. I really love him. So before I carry on now, before I tell you about this guy, first of all, good morning and thank you to our new subscribers and welcome. Thank you to everybody else that have already been subscribed for a while. And thank you for those who do comment and do message me, and your input is really much appreciated, so thank you for that. It's a very busy time at the minute and I'm squeezing in crafts wherever I can, so I'm quite impressed that I've actually got this lot done since the middle of last week, and there's still a lot more to do. I have some more orders we've got 6 orders to fill as well, so I don't think we should take any more because I've still got a whole bunch left to do for fairs, although we haven't got that many fairs prepared this year as we did last year. I'm playing it safe for a number of reasons, especially considering the weather. I haven't put many on. There's only one that I need to travel for this year. The others are all local, so I'm hoping, or maybe one of the others, maybe there's 2. I still haven't heard back from the one yet, but there might be 2. The one is Gilwern on the 1st of December, which is a Victorian one, and the other one is Nankaru, the China Works in Nankaru. So if I haven't heard anything back from them, I'll message them again today and hopefully hear from them. But I think those are the only 2, and I think the one in Nankaru is November. I won't travel in December because of the concern about possibility of a heavy winter, and I'm trying not to overdo it this year, because last year we overdid it, had 15 craft fairs, and all between the end of November and December, Christmas, and we were exhausted, and I worked right up to Christmas Eve. We didn't even have a Christmas, and I didn't spend much time with family, and I'm not doing that this year. I want to spend time with family because to me that's more important than, getting every last penny out of the craft fairs. This is just a means to an end. It's not the end. So with that in mind, I've only booked a few of the craft fairs, and hopefully they're good ones, because I've cut out those from last year that I found were not really worth the effort because it was actually run at a loss. Because at each of the ones that were rubbish, we literally only made the money back for the fuel and the cost of the stall, and obviously didn't get back even the cost of the making the things that we sold. So they were technically a loss, so I cut them out this year. I'm not doing them again. I think the difference is between Christmas fair and craft fair. There is a difference then. I think craft fairs tend to do better because that's what people go for. Whereas at Christmas fairs, there's such a variety of different things, and not all makers, not all crafters, quite a lot of jumble things and, cheapy little things that people go to for fun and not really with the view of buying something handcrafted and handmade. But there's still 2 of them that I went to actually very good, where we did make more than just the fuel and the cost of the stall, and we made back a little bit that actually covered the materials, at least, of the things that we made, and a little bit more. So it wasn't that profitable, but it was a good day, so I'll try that again. Those 2, and I've got a few new ones like the Gilwern one and the China Works in Nankaru. Those are new ones that I've not done before. Oh, and the Capital Shopping Centre in Cardiff. That one I've got a few days booked in December, and it's indoors. I'm not doing Cumbraland this year. It was absolutely awful last year. The first year we were there, they had the wooden chalets, and it was more Christmassy. It was still cold, it was still freezing, because they're higher up. in the valleys area. They're much higher up, and it's much colder. There's a 4-degree difference in temperature, colder in the winter, that is. When it was 2 degrees here, it was -4 up there, and it was absolutely frozen. And one day -7, that I wasn't there, but somebody told me that it was -7. So it was freezing cold last year because we didn't have the wooden chalets. We had the white gazebos. There was a carpet on the floor, but it was absolutely frozen and it was damp. The water did get inside the gazebos, and the fabric, which was very pretty draped inside the gazebos, it looked very good. They did make an effort for the appearance, but the fabric got wet. So having wind blow through wet fabric makes a fridge. That's a little bit of a fact for you. It makes a fridge. So inside the gazebos was even colder than it was outside the gazebos. And I had to cover all the stock overnight with big sheets of plastic to protect them from the damp and the water. So it was not ideal. Yeah, so I decided this year I'm going to cut that one, especially if it's going to be serious rain, and you have to pay up front. And if I book a fair and I can't get there, if we do get snowed in, if there is too much ice, or if I can't get there, then that's money wasted because you won't get your money back. And it's a long way to go in the freezing cold and not get there if there's snow. But at least if it is frozen in and snowy, I could still walk to the city centre from here. It would take quite a while and be very painful in the cold, but I could still do that. So, and the one in the capital is indoors, so I'm going to try that instead this year, and it's not as dear as the ones in Cwmbran. Expensive wise, it's a bit cheaper, but it is in the city centre and it's indoors, so I think I'm going to try that one instead. Right, so that's a bit of that update there, but I will put up the dates on Facebook, when the fairs, which fairs I've booked, and let you know when those are, although most of my viewers probably wouldn't be able to go because they don't live that nearby, but just to pass it round and share so that those who are would be aware of it. Okay, so first of all, my absolute favourite Santa so far, other than the green one with the winter scene, he has this pretty cute little walking staff, and he's thank you to the viewer that suggested that. I've put little glitter, I don't know if you can see it, little glittery trim on the edges to look like snow on the tree. Okay, and you can't really see it on this camera, but there is gold on the staff in the grains of the wood, so I've put that in there. And I did manage to find a chain to attach the little lantern to. So he's carrying a lantern, a light. He has gold buttons there and there, but on his hat, I don't know if you can see, these little gold dots are actually, with the little black lines in them, are those little sleigh bells that you see on some Christmas decorations, the little bells, and he has them there on his boots as well, and on the back of his belt. And if you can see them, if it's close enough, they're little bells. And on just the top edge of his trim, there and there, and on the top edge of his hat, I've put a little bit of glittery gold. His eyes are not so deep set, but I am concerned that all these Santas are looking concerned or weary. They should be much more jolly. I'll have to do something about that. But there you go, that's him, and I love his hat. It came out really nice at the back. That worked out really nice. So there you are. This Santa with a lantern. Santa of light. There you go. This one is a strange one. He's wearing a bit of a tailcoat at the back. You can see it's open. He's wearing a bit of a tailcoat. Green one. His hat is funny too, but I like him. he has a couple of clovers with gold decoration around the clovers, the 4-leaf clovers. So obviously there's another 4-leaf clover there. He's an Irish Santa, looking very nice and warm for the winter, with his little glittery trim showing just how cold it is, and he has brown boots instead of the black with a lovely little gold buckle. Yeah, that's so cute. So I like him. He came out really nice, and he's looking all right. He's just staring into nowhere, I think, probably a bit thoughtful, not miserable looking, but just thoughtful. He is. So I like him. A different one. This one is a pretty green one. Different, green and gold. Green and gold do tend to go together nicely, don't they? But he has a bit more of a grey beard. He, yeah, it's a lot of gold trim on him, and green. It's quite a luxurious colour, isn't it? Green and gold. And the forest green is a very good traditional Christmas colour, because it's a colour of, symbolic of eternity, because it's evergreen plants that are usually that colour green during the winter. So evergreen, especially like Christmas trees, supposed to be evergreen trees when not chopped and in the ground. They are evergreens and therefore symbolic of eternity. So, and gold is something precious. Gold has always been a symbol of something precious. So green and gold and white being a symbol of purity and cleanness and newness. I've never seen driven new snow. So yeah, the colours of Christmas to me are very important because they are symbolic. Each to their own, of course. A lot of people don't go for that in Christmas, but for me, I do find symbolism in a lot of Christmas things that we do, whether they are Celtic or European origin. They still have symbolic things for me to help me remember certain things of Christmas. Again, another cloak to Santa, this time with some ivy and a golden bow. And he's glitter all over, he's varnish all over. It's got little specks of glitter in it. It was a glitter varnish that I used. And he has some glitter trim as well. His hat a little bit lower over his eyes, and a shorter beard. He doesn't have as long a beard as some of the others. With his double-breasted buttons on his cloak, and his buckle on his belt, and his shoes. Red colour, traditional Christmas colour, maybe not for Santa, but traditional because it too is symbolic. Red being the symbol of love and warmth, and for Christians also the symbol of the blood of Christ, and that's why red bows are such a symbol of Christmas, being a symbol of unity and love and bonding between people, brotherly love and kindness. So that's why red is such a good Christmas colour. So that's the colours spoken about in the Santas. This one he's actually quite chunky and heavy compared to the others, and yet they're the same wood, I think. No, he's pine. He's pine. He's pine. He's basswood and feels a bit heavier. Again, this one also is pine. I wasn't too happy with these two. They're not that different. I think I could have done something better with them. But he has holly on his hat and his cloak, a bit of trim, sparkly trim on his hat and moustache. Yes, simple, something more affordable, I think. Even though it did almost take as much time as the others, but it doesn't look as impressive as the others. Same as this one, also holly, red and white, with a bit of trim on the colours. Still, I did do some shading in the face of these ones, and they didn't come out so dark, so it's not so obvious, but still alright. And they're longer haired. I don't think Santa ever has long hair. The wizardy type, the Celtic Santa do, so I think these are more like him. Now, this one, to start off, it was very boring. It was from last year and had very little colouring on it that I liked. but I tarted them up this year. All of these ones were from last year that they looked awful. I couldn't believe that I tried to sell them actually, but I did change them. He now has mistletoe, also another Celtic symbolic Christmas symbol that we use, because it's that time of the year, it's in the winter, and that's when mistletoe is thriving through the winter and provides food for the birds in the winter when there's not much else. Anciently, I think Celtic wise, mistletoe was connected with a number of things. One of them I think was a fertility thing, another was that it was, from as far as I could remember, I think something to do with life coming out of death, because of course the tree, it's okay, this is a parasite, so any tree that has mistletoe on it will eventually die because it lives off the tree. It's not a symbiotic relationship, it's more of a parasitic relationship between mistletoe and the host tree. But it's at the dead of winter, when the deciduous trees are overwintering and dormant, these plants are thriving and living and green. So I think another symbol of life coming out of death. So another symbolic thing for Christmas, the green colour obviously, and he is a bit more of a wizardy, druidy type Santa with some more mistletoe and a red bow on his beard with a blue shading. His eyes totally covered, that's a very droopy hat, but I like him, he's nice. Oops, the Santas are not behaving. One too many tipples. This one I changed because he also was very boring. He had nothing but about 2 or 3 stars and a few specks of snow. So I changed him and I put more specks of snow, and I don't know if you can see that. It's a little crescent moon with a face, the man in the moon. And he has some silver drips down with a few stars, and a few more of the stars I put around. And you can't really see it in this light, but I did put tiny little specks of glitter in some of the stars just to highlight and stand out. And even the crescent moon has a little bit of glitter on the top edge of on the inside edge of the crescent. So there you go, a pretty little moon on him, and I really like him because I liked all the shading that actually worked on the face. I can't believe that it actually worked. That's so tiny. That is really, really tiny details. So I hope others like it. I like him. He's really nice. I want to do more of those. I like the winter scenes and the little things like that. It feels nice to do them. So that's the Santas done that have to go, you know, between the shop and craft fairs. So they are ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I am so impressed. 8 I got done this week. So let's put them aside for a little bit. Let's put you aside for a bit. Okay, let's put them aside for a bit. This is our 18 minutes getting on. I've got to get things done and posted already. A new one he posted that will go into the shop as well for next week. A little pumpkin. He's going to do a couple more of those. So I'll paint them. I like them. That's a nice little one. That's cute. A little squash or a pumpkin. So he came out really nice. So I'm going to paint and sort that for next week. One order that I had was for some trees. So they will be painted. I do love the wood grains in these. You can't really see it there with the light coming through the window. The grains, I do love the grains in the wood, and it's always loathed me to cover them up with paint, but they need paint. They look spectacular when they're done. I'll show you when it's finished. Look at those grains, aren't they beautiful? I would rather drill like pilot hole drill a couple of little countersunk holes and stick in jewels on the wood and then varnish it just to make it pretty rather than paint it, but I don't have that yet, but that's an idea for next year. Little diamante type multicolored little jewels to stick in the wood just to keep the beautiful grains of the wood on display but pretty it up and make it a bit more, you know. Now wouldn't that be something if I could afford to get proper little jewels and gold leaf and edge, just the edges with proper gold leaf? That'd be worth quite a bit, but it would be quite pretty and still keep the beauty of the wood, because that's what it is made of. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to experiment with that, but this still needs sealing because some of the grains are opening up in the moisture in the air, so it gets a bit rough. So I'm going to have to put some sanding sealer on there and then file down the little burrs. The grains are opening up. This pine, that's one problem with pine. If you don't paint and seal it quickly, the grains do open up and gets it rough, and you end up continually sanding. You could lose the shape. So there you go. Order to do, and this is another order for some Mary and Joseph. Somebody wanted them for presents for family, so they'll be painted very simply, modestly, in a wash rather than a solid color. And this is a regular customer every year, so I want to do the best I can. Well, I want to do the best I can for all of them anyway. We always do. We put everything in, but we'll go an extra mile for those who come regularly. These little angels, this was also for that order. As the wings, the back of the wings, they still have to have their wings attached. And there was some holly on there and some schemia. They're a bit like a Tony Aster. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but it is an evergreen plant that's in berry during winter. So there you go. And holly, of course, holly also very symbolic for winter, and that's the inside of the wing. So this will go on the angel like that. Yeah, it'll go like that on the angel and be varnished, and they'll have some felt on the bottom to finish that off. It's a really plain little face on them, a bit pyrography, and you keep the lovely grains of the wood, and it looks nice and natural and simple. So that's for that order, and I've got to get on with that. So that's what we're doing. I've got to finish those two this week, and another one for some Welsh ladies. We have to finish that this week as well. So very busy, and I've got 2 walking sticks to paint yet that he's made. One for an order, and a couple more to do to get into the shop. So very, very busy, as well as helping someone move house, preserving, tidying up, babysitting, and all the other bits that we usually do as women and normally. Oh, and by the way, for the Gilwern Fair, of course, I don't have any Victorian clothes or that, but I'm going to have to make my own out of all sorts. So it might not be authentically Victorian, but it'll look the part. And this is the hat that I'm busy making. It was the white straw hat I had. So it doesn't go. This is supposed to be much straighter that way, but I'll figure a way out of doing that. And I put hessian on. It needs trim on the edge. I've got red chiffon sash to go around, red ribbon, and then I'll put holly berries and some other Christmas foliage around the brim. And this is for the Gilwern Fair, for the Victorian Fair, because we all have to dress in Victorian clothes for that. So that is going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to that. I have to travel for that, but I'm willing to do that just because I want to do a Victorian Fair. There you go. There is another one that's supposed to be a Dickensian one, but it's on the same day as it's on a Tuesday, and I don't do that because I babysit on a Tuesday. So that one's out. Okay, so that is my bonnet waiting to be finished, and I'll let you know what it looks like when it's done. I'm enjoying that, even though it's very painful because I couldn't find my thimbles, and sewing through a straw hat is very painful. The back of the needle kept going into my finger as if it was the front, so there's very blunt stabbing. It's painful. So 3 fingers are quite raw from that. That's why a lot of people, when they do make their own out of straw hats, glue things on. I'm not doing that. I want it to last, so that if it is a successful one, I'll do another one again. So there you go. my Victorian bonnet in the making. I don't look too bad, does it? There you go. Anyway, my lovies, I've got to go. Appointments to get to, jobs to do, and I still have to post this video as well. It should have been done yesterday, Monday, today being Tuesday, but there was just no chance whatsoever at all. So I shall love you and leave you and speak to you again soon. Have a lovely day, whatever the weather brings. Smile, be happy, and find the beauty of every day, and do whatever you possibly can. Make hay even when the sun doesn't shine. Speak to you soon. Bye.